What's good everyone, and welcome back to Chefkoch, your go-to channel for exploring the meaning, history and culture behind rap music, one story at a time. Leave a like and a sub if you enjoy content like this. You can join my community Discord to the link in the description. And now sit back and enjoy the 8th episode of my series Underground Rap Around the World. Today I want to introduce you to the underground scene from Austria, so that you can expand your musical knowledge and get tapped into the new wave. Now Austria already has a pretty known music scene in Europe thanks to artists like Bibiza, Eddie Preis or Young Horn. And next to that, one of the earliest European musicians that had a big influence on the hip hop genre was the Austrian legend Falco. So the roots of Austrian rap actually lie very deep. However, the underground scene is still unknown to most, that's why I want to highlight it in this video and present you some of my favorite Austrian rappers, starting with Johnny 5. Johnny 5 aka Johnny 5 is a rapper from Vienna who started making music in 2016 on SoundCloud. He first gained traction due to his features on albums by Austrian rapper Young Horn, as well as with his solo tracks like 1955, Money Dance and Rauche Gut from 2016 and 2017. As further highlights of Johnny's discography, I want to mention Sport EP No. 1 from August 2018 together with Caramello, an artist that I talked about in my episode about the German underground scenes. Next to that we have the 5K/2K EP from September 2018, which is a plug influenced record, and my favorite song on here has to be Swoosh. And moving on to 2019, Johnny switched up the soundscape and started to make piano trap songs like Euros, City Boys Freestyle and Stiegenhaus, which became very successful in the European underground, and especially the songs with fellow Austrian rapper Pisslik88 go hard. Johnny's soundscape became darker and more mysterious at that time, which was again visible on songs like 1000, Baile Funk, Freddy Krueger, Grinch, Kein Spaß, Schnell Part 1 and Ronaldinho. With these songs, Johnny was able to make a name for himself in the German-speaking rap sphere, especially due to the fantastic beats he was rapping on and unique features like his soft flows and lyrical themes which often revolve around sports, sports clothes and being athletic. That's why Johnny's label actually is called Sport Records. And as further highlights of his discography, I want to mention the Park 5 EP from July 2021, as well as the Nur Wir EP from May 2022 and the Gore-Tex EP from January 2023. With these consistent releases, Johnny was able to garner a die-hard fanbase, and although his initial newcomer hype already ran out years ago, Johnny still makes great music today, like the song Roger Federer from July 2025, as well as the collab EP with German artist Fergie53 titled Liebe zum Spiel Volume 1 from August 2024. Especially the song Sternzeichen Spieler with Zaccavelli goes hard. So while specific biographical details are very limited, Johnny 5 remains a very versatile and talented artist from the Austrian underground scene. He has been making music for almost a decade now and has always stayed consistent, which is very impressive. And now let's talk about the next underground artist, Kroka Koka. Kroka Koka is a rapper from Vienna with Swedish roots who started making music in 2023. His songs fit mostly into the rage and cloud rap sonority, and as earlier highlights of his discography, I want to mention his tape Vienna Videos from May 2024. For sure check this record out if you want to know how Austrian cloud rap sounds like. Next to that I want to mention the EP Wien City 2 from November 2024. On here we can see some of Kroka's main musical influences, since the EP includes samples from Lil B's Birth of Rap, Snow Strippers Under Your Spell, as well as Ray Sremmurd's Black Beatles, which all are standout tracks of their respective musical era. In addition we have the tape Window Bonner from August 2025, Kroka Koka's best record yet in my opinion. The internet rap scene and cloud rap pioneers like A$AP Rocky, Lil B and Young Lean clearly seem to be a big influence on Kroka's music, which is very visible on Window Bonner since the song Ginseng Glock 05 samples, you guessed it, Ginseng Strip 2002, and the track Helmut Lang samples LVL by A$AP Rocky. The song Helmut Lang actually went viral on Instagram and amassed over 1 million streams already, so thanks to this, Kroka Koka currently has a small hype. And Kroka continued to stay consistent in 2025 with his most recent singles Schau as well as Prada, which samples an all-time classic German trap song. Whoever recognizes this has elite ball knowledge. But Kroka Koka is not only tapped into the German rap movements, he's also a big fan of the modern US underground, since you can find features on Adam Killer and Lazy God on his albums. This international flair of Kroka's music definitely makes him stand out from the rest of the Austrian scene, and I will be watching his career with great interest. But now let's move on to our next artist, Gola Gianni. Gola Gianni is a rapper from Austria, though he also has Indonesian and American roots. And especially the US trap scenes with rappers like Future, Lucky and Young Thug became a big musical influence for him. Gola started rapping in English around 2018, but then switched to German in 2020 and dropped a great EP in December that year titled Gola Pack, which goes into the plug and melodic rap soundscape, and my favorite song on here has to be Don Julio. At that time, Gola Gianni's avant-garde soundscape sadly didn't generate a lot of attention, since the mainstream German-speaking rap scene was just getting into UK drill instrumentals. Meanwhile, Gola became one of the first German-speaking rappers to hop on the rage wave back in April 2021 with his song Schnell. It is fair to say that Gola really had an ear for new sonorities. He observed what the US underground scenes like the Slayworld collective were cooking up and then tried to improve it for his European audience, and he slowly was starting to gain an authentic fanbase by blending pluggnb, rage, sample drill and Detroit rap into his music. And Gola actually uses a lot of anglicisms. He grew up in the US for a couple of years, so the language feels very natural to him. Therefore, you might be able to understand half of what he raps about, even if you don't speak German at all. Gola then continued to drop amazing singles in 2021 like Fledermaus, Gucci Freestyle, Hockey and Mary Poppins that went into the rage and experimental trap sonority, as well as a talented EP Gola Pack 2. Then in 2022, Gola Gianni released great tracks like Runden, Silly, Toseina or Veteran, as well as the mixtape Gola Pack 3, which I personally enjoyed a lot. And at that time, Gola already made a name for himself in the Austrian underground scene, since more and more rap fans were getting into the rage, plug and sample drill scenes. But in October 2023, Gola Gianni would finally land an international hit with Zwei Handys. This song went completely viral on social media and amassed over 17 million streams on Spotify, therefore changing Gola's career forever. Sadly, his recent music doesn't hit the same for me anymore. His new album GTA from October 2025 still had some good songs, but Gola focuses more on making regular trap music nowadays, way less experimental and less refreshing in my opinion. Still, Gola Gianni for sure was on a generational run from 2020 to 2023. Nobody can take that away from him, and the songs from that era really are goated, so for sure check them out. And last but not least, let's talk about young Krillin. For the last artist in this video, we have to go back in time a bit and revisit the discography of the Austrian cloud rap pioneer young Krillin. Krillin was born in Croatia during the Yugoslavia war, but his family then fled to safety in Salzburg. In Austria, Krillin then discovered his passion for hip-hop and integrated musical influences from Atlanta, Houston, Memphis and the Bay Area into his own music. Next to that, young Krillin was one of the first rappers to bring cloud rap into the German-speaking realm, all while being paralyzed from the waist down due to a neuromuscular disorder titled spinal muscular atrophy. Therefore, music also became a tool for Krillin to express his feelings and create awareness for this disability. So now let's take a look at his discography. First of all, I want to highlight his 2014 tape Feel Me Before They Kill Me, clearly a homage to Tommy Wright III. The soundscape on Feel Me Before They Kill Me ranges from OG trap to cloud rap, and the most famous songs on here have to be Ein Bag Money or High von dem Lean, and especially the chopped and screwed version of this track goes hard. However, my personal favorite song on here has to be Galatasaray. Now this soundscape may not sound groundbreaking to you, but remember, this came out in 2014 and in Austria, A German-speaking cloud rap tape was super rare at the time, since most German cloud rap projects came out after 2015. Next to that, Krillin experimented a lot with autotune, which also was very bold in 2014, since autotune was being hated on in Europe so much at that time. Sonically, German-speaking rap music was very conservative. It was kind of comparable to the very one-sided old head versus so-called mumble rap beef, but young Krillin for sure helped to break boundaries for the hip-hop scenes in Europe with his melodic and ethereal music. And as another highlight of his discography, I want to mention Salamander Schnaps from 2016, which goes into the cloud rap sonority but also includes elements from funk and OG Memphis rap, as well as Houston's chopped and screwed sound. And this is one thing I like a lot about Krillin's music. He pays homage to a lot of older hip hop scenes but isn't afraid to experiment with new wave sonorities either. In addition, while all the other artists in this video rap strictly in German, Krillin actually raps in the Austrian language/dialect, which gives his records a more regional flair. Next to that, he regularly raps about his disability, and what's remarkable about it is that Krillin always remains optimistic in his music, and I wish him all the best for his health. Young Krillin still makes music today, but it's more boom bap and pop influenced, so check out his recent stuff if you like those sonorities. And with that being said, we already concluded young Krillin's discography, so I hope that I was able to introduce you to underground rap from Austria. In my opinion, it is a very underrated music scene that deserves more attention, but thanks to this video you can already get tapped in today. Therefore, check out everyone I presented today. Also take a look at the pinned comment for some honorable mentions if you want to dive deeper into the Austrian underground scene. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video to the end. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, that helps me out a lot. Cheers!